Welcome everyone to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about the nuclear missile tests carried out by France, just one day after Russia also carried out nuclear weapons tests. The most obvious sign of how tense relations between those two countries are. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news. This Wednesday, May 22nd, France carried out a test launch of its nuclear missile, the SMPAR. According to the French Ministry of Defense and MBDA, the missile, without its nuclear warhead, was launched from a Rafale fighter, a test classified by the French authorities as successful. This operation was carried out just one day after Russia carried out the largest test of mobilization of its tactical nuclear forces in the last 10 years, with the French government saying it was nothing more than a coincidence, informing that the test had been scheduled for a long time. However, given the current climate of tension between Russia and France, after President Emmanuel Macron said that he does not rule out the possibility of sending French soldiers to Ukraine, it is impossible not to associate one action with the other. The Russian nuclear test, which as I mentioned, was carried out on Tuesday, May 21st, took place along the southern border of Ukraine, and involved Russian tactical nuclear forces, which correspond precisely to the nuclear means that Russia would use in the event of nuclear attack in Ukraine. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the test simulated the deployment of launch vehicles and the actual launch of the missiles, in a scenario classified by the Kremlin as a tactical nuclear response to threats against Russian sovereignty. Unlike strategic nuclear weapons, capable of pulverizing entire cities, tactical nuclear weapons have much lower powers, designed to destroy tactical targets on the battlefield, such as bases and ammunition depots. But they can still cause tens or hundreds of thousands of casualties in a fraction of a second, depending on the area hit. According to sources linked to the French government, the test carried out this Wednesday is a response to what they called Russia's provocative nuclear actions, citing the constant nuclear threats made by Putin and other top leaders of his regime. According to the French government, this test served to remind Putin's regime that Russia is not the only nuclear power in the world and that France is dedicated to maintaining and modernizing its nuclear assets. With President Macron announcing the investment of 13% of the entire French military budget to increase French nuclear capacity, also announcing that by 2035, France will have an air-launched nuclear missile even more modern than the current one. The missile tested by France this Wednesday was the AR version of the ASMP, the French acronym for Medium-Range Surface Air Missile. The first version was officially introduced in 1986 to replace the French nuclear bombs of each Free and 22 and N-52. This version of the missile had a range of up to 300 kilometers and a speed of 3 to 4 times that of sound, meaning it was a very fast missile and therefore difficult to intercept. Version A entered service in 2009. Increasing the range to 500 kilometers, allowing the transport of a gunship with a power of up to 300 kilotons. And finally, in 2016, the AR version appeared, tested this Wednesday, with a range of more than 500 kilometers and a speed that, according to some sources, is more than 4 times that of sound. The new missile that will succeed the ASMP will be the ASN-4G, an acronym for Fourth Generation Air-to-Ground Nuclear Missile that, according to sources linked to the project, will have a range of more than 1,000 kilometers and will be hypersonic, reaching an estimated speed of up to 8 times that of sound. Although France made a point of saying that carrying out this test was unrelated to the Russian nuclear test carried out just one day earlier, it is undeniable that its purpose was to remind Russia that France, with its more than 500 nuclear warheads, is also a nuclear power that must be respected. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any news.